If you're a coach or consultant that wants to scale, but you're still just blasting out 100 cold messages every single day, thinking that's the solution, well, think again. Not only is this not the best way to go about getting clients, but if you're still doing this, your business is probably gonna fall apart soon. And I know this because I've been able to scale my business to over 60K per month, and I've helped over 130 plus coaches and consultants massively grow their companies as well. But if cold outreach is not the answer, then the question is, what is the answer? So let me actually share with you exactly what it is in this video. So first off, why is it that cold outreach doesn't really work as well as it used to anymore? Now, it's not as though cold outreach has never worked in the past. In 2019, when I was first starting out my business, cold outreach was actually my most successful channel for growth. But a lot has changed since that time. There are now significantly more people that are trying to build online companies, whether it be an agency, a coaching company, a consulting firm. And because there's so many more people that are trying to build online businesses that are doing outreach, frankly, your prospects are getting just really annoyed. They're getting DM'd every single day and their inboxes are now being flooded with spammy requests. Not to mention, there's so many automation tools out there today that make it extremely easy for you to do this type of outreach, and everyone has access to it. So this only makes the audience even more skeptical and more annoyed when they're getting a message in their inbox from a total stranger that's just saying that, hey, I can promise you the world, I can make you ripped, I can make you rich. Of course, they're not gonna be able to believe you now. So overall, because of this outreach blindness, it is incredibly hard for you to be able to generate results with pure cold DMing or messaging. Something else that I want to say is because so many people are making incredibly huge claims in their outreach, such as, hey, I could generate you like $1 million in the next 30 days. Because it's so easy to just make this claim with essentially no repercussion if you're unable to fulfill that claim, people now have been either burned in the past because they bought a product which has made a claim like this and it didn't really work out, or they've seen so many people making claims like this that it's really hard for them to believe you. And here's the thing, right? Even if you have an amazing offer, how can your audience tell? Because every single person who's outreaching to your audience is making the same claims that you're probably making, and there's no way that your audience can really differentiate. So here's ultimately what happens as a result of all this. A, you book less calls. B, when you do book calls, people tend to not even show up to the call. And C, even if they do show up to the call, they're very skeptical. It takes a long time to close them because they just have that many objections. So what is the solution? And it's actually pretty simple. What you need is content in order to indoctrinate your customer base. The key is to give so much value away for free in your content and have that content be answering so many of the major questions and problems that your prospects have that they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are truly an expert and credible at what you do. This immediately separates you from the people who are just spam pitching because now you've actually proven that you know what it is that you're talking about. And this allows you to book more calls. It allows you to get people to actually show up to those calls and allows you to significantly shorten your sales cycle and increase your conversion rate because of the fact that people go in thinking that you're already good at what you do. This is also incredibly scalable because if you have a single piece of content, theoretically, an infinite amount of people can see it, which is definitely not the case with outreach, because with outreach, it's strictly a linear progression. You send out a single message, it gets to one eyeball, and if you want to continue to get more eyeballs, you got to continue blasting out more and more messages. So in regards to the content, how do you actually make sure that you're creating really good content that drives a conversion? Because you're not just creating content for the sake of making content, you want to actually monetize and get people to ultimately book a call and hopefully even buy your products. So the key with content is that you got to be really, really specific. Who is your audience? We do not want to just be one day making a video about skateboards and the next day making videos about your lifestyle and the third day it's about marketing. You need to have a very clear idea of who your audience is and what are the specific problems that they have that you could theoretically help them with. Write down what their biggest problems are. Write down what their biggest fears are. Write down the exact things that they don't know today that they need to know in order for them to overcome their specific issues. And when you actually have all of this mapped out, that gives you a really solid framework in which you can start creating content. When you look down my library on YouTube, every single piece of content is incredibly intentional. It's for the purpose of specifically solving my clients' core issues. So if I was to give you some examples of my clientele, their specific problems are usually that they don't really know how to scale their coaching, consulting, or agency business. They oftentimes don't have enough leads. They're either doing too many things manually, maybe they're overly relying on referrals, maybe they're creating content that isn't converting. It's a very specific set of issues. And that's why when you look down my content, I'm always posting about how to generate more leads and how to do so in a more automated way that will allow them to return time back into their calendar calendar so that they can actually be a CEO of a scaling business. It's hyper specific. And I'm not just giving platitude content. I'm going deep. I'm going into tutorials. I'm giving in-depth breakdowns so that people can actually see that I know what it is that I'm talking about. And then I'm sharing customer testimonials so that people can see that my clients are also incredibly successful as well. And to make it even more powerful, I'm actually hoping that when people see my content, that they binge watch it, and by the time they see all the content, not only do they book a sales call, but they also show up to the call already having sold themselves into my program. This means that I'll oftentimes try to think of what are the objections that sometimes people might have prior to entering a sales call, and can I even make content that overcomes those objections before they even show up to the sales call. For example, objections that sometimes might come up prior to them joining me on a sales call might be, I can do this myself, or this is probably too expensive. These are common objections that you might oftentimes hear in a sales call, but what if I recorded a quick 5 to 10 minute video that already overcomes those specific objections in a video, and that way it'll make it so much easier for me to close the deal on the call itself. So from a tactical perspective, what does this content funnel look like? How do you deploy this in a way which generates massive results? Well, from a content perspective, my favorite place to have long form content that truly can build trust is YouTube, of course. You're watching my YouTube channel right now, and YouTube is amazing as the middle of the funnel here in order for us to be able to build massive trust and get them to feel like we're legitimate experts. But here's the thing, right? Just because YouTube is amazing at building trust and getting people to think that you're great, the problem with YouTube is that it's really hard for you to actually get new eyeballs. Anyone who's tried to build a YouTube channel in the past will know how long it takes to even get any new audience. Even hitting 1,000 subscribers oftentimes can take months, if not years. So the way that we're actually going to be able to expedite this process is by not using YouTube's organic algorithm as the primary way to get eyeballs. Instead, we're going to actually utilize paid media. So what I do is at the top of the funnel here, you'll actually see that we're running ads on both LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram. Because within these ad platforms, we're able to hyper target our ideal buyer and send them to our content. You can find the people who are likely to buy your stuff. For example, let's say you or me and you wanted to find entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants. It's actually really easy for me to run search parameters in the ad platform so that the people who see my ad are exactly fitting that particular specification. And this ad will essentially get people to follow me on social media, follow me on YouTube in particular, and actually watch through all my videos. It's really important that you understand this. We're not running paid media to try to push someone to our website and book a call, because that would be asking someone to book a call when they don't even really know who we are. The purpose of these ads is to actually push them into our content, into our YouTube channel, because we know that the organic YouTube content, once they're locked in, they'll start binging our content, and that's what actually gets them to book the call down the line. Now, these are all things that actually I teach my clients how to do, because whether it be building out a YouTube channel and being able to create content that is hyper monetizable, that's difficult. And running ads so that you can ultimately grow your YouTube following and get more people to see your content on demand, that's also a little bit tricky. There's a lot of little nuances and intricacies that go into it, but we can actually solve this funnel. You can print money. You'll literally be able to generate 5x to 10x return on your ad spend, and you'll be able to significantly blow the results that you're getting with cold outreach out the water because of the fact that you're talking to all these people and they actually know who you are. They already want to be buying from you. So if this is something that you're kind of curious about, you want to be able to see results just like my clients here, Ria, who hit 91K per month, Chris Chow, who hit 100K a month, Manjeet, who hit 64K a month. If you want that type of result, then just book a call with me below, because we can help you out. And if you're not necessarily ready for that yet, that's totally cool. Just follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn, send me a DM there, or even just follow me and we'll have a bit of a conversation and we can potentially answer some of your questions there, all right? So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.